Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Parshat video. Uh, my sister has 3 little girls. They're super cute. And they're always asking her questions about God. She told me I should write a children's book. She'll supply all the questions, I'll supply all the answers about kids' questions about God. But one of the questions that keeps coming up is, where is God? Is God everywhere? Is God in the bathroom? Is God in my mouth? Is God in my eyes? And they're not trying to be tricky. They're just being smart, curious, precocious little girls. But these are really some of the deepest theological questions of the human condition. And these are questions that a lot of us do wonder. And as we get older, the question might change from, is God in the bathroom, to, is God in the Holocaust? It's really the same question. Can God be in this unclean place? And surprisingly, this week's Torah portion contains an answer to the question, because this week's Torah portion is all about God asking us to create a space for Him to exist in our world. And the verse in the Torah that says so is V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham. God says, okay, you've come out of Egypt. We've gone through the 10 plagues. We've gone through the splitting of the Red Sea. I've given you the Torah. I've given you the law. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a sacred space, a sacred sanctuary where I can dwell among you. Now that's a very curious expression, because if God is everywhere, then why do we need to create a sacred space? Doesn't God exist all over the place? Furthermore, the where God actually exists is the subject of a lot of theological conversation. Does God fill up the whole world, or does God encompass the whole world? Does God contract His presence in order to make space for people to have free will? Or does God just contract His light in order to make space for the illusion of darkness? So my little 5-year-old niece was onto something really big with her questions about God. I'm not going to be able to answer these questions in a short video, partly because of the limitation of format and time, and mostly because of limitations in my own comprehension. But part of understanding the answers to these questions is understanding that we don't have answers to these questions. We are instructed to study and learn and delve and ask, but we are also asked to understand in humbleness that we will never fully understand. And so one of the answers to this question is we don't know. We actually don't know what it might be like for there to be a completely non-physical being that fills up the whole world, yet whose presence is contracted or more concentrated in certain spaces. But the simple answer that I'd like to present for the purpose of our own living our best lives is that the reason God asked us to create a sacred space for Him in this world is not for Him. God has plenty of places to live, so to speak, but rather for us. Because we as human beings, to us, good and evil is so separate, and to us, we can't really understand that two concepts can coexist at exactly the same time. We have a hard time with that. So God said to us, listen, I know it's hard for you to see me in the darkness. It's hard for you to see me in the bathroom. It's hard for you to see me in the Holocaust. I want you to create a sacred space. And this whole Torah portion is all about creating that sacred space, which for us nowadays is our homes, our own homes, and our synagogues. And God says, and I want you to create a table, and I want you to create an ark, and I want you to create a menorah, and this is what the walls should be like, and it should have these kinds of curtains. It was very, very specific about how God wanted us to design the space, and that we should be investing time, money, effort, thought, creativity into creating this space. Why? For us. The more time and effort we put into creating a space for God to exist in this world, the happier we will be, because we need to compartmentalize our lives. We need to leave the sadness and the confusion and the darkness behind and walk into our homes where we have a mezuzah on the door, and we can kiss the mezuzah and we can say, this is it, this is the boundary. Inside my home, this is the sacred space. We need to be able to walk into a synagogue and say, here I feel God. Not because God doesn't exist elsewhere, God forbid, but because we have a hard time accessing God everywhere. So to my niece, I will say to you, Is Hashem everywhere? Yes, he is. Is he in the bathroom? Yes, he's in the bathroom. Is he in your mouth? He's in your mouth. Is he in your nose? He's in your nose. Yes, 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 and yes. And if my 5-year-old niece would ask me, Tanta Ruchi, I don't understand. How could Hashem be everywhere at the same time? I would say, neither do I, and that's okay. Shabbat shalom.